After a decade on the right's furthest fringes, Laura Loomer appears to be leaning into her reputation as President Trump's loyalty enforcer. So far, Loomer's taken credit for at least 16 administration dismissals. She's recently claimed to meet with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth as she seeks to root out, quote, anti-Trump staffers inside the Pentagon. And there's even a phrase for her ability to pop up wherever and whenever Trump administration officials' careers appear to reach their end. It's called getting Loomered. Now, Semafor reports that she's testing the strength of her informal influence and access to Trump, to many Republicans' chagrin. Joining us now is politics reporter for Semafor, Dave Weigel. And Dave, Loomer's been largely seen as a fringe voice, at least until more recently. So why her rise in influence?
Because Donald Trump wants her to have influence, and because she's very dogged, very hardworking, as she told me, is online basically 20 hours a day and has no social life. She has been devoted to defending Donald Trump for many years and defending his ideas from anyone who she thinks is trying to get a free ride from him and get a job from a position that might undermine him. And Trump sees his first term as a collection of some lost opportunities because he didn't have a completely loyal staff. You see the order for the DOJ to investigate former intelligence officials from the first term. She sees herself, and Trump sees her, as a way to get accountability and expose these people through constant research and public call-outs. That's the important part of it. All the articles she publishes, the very public nature of what she puts out, gets right into the conservative media ecosystem.
Yeah, she trolls people pretty loud and proud. How does Loomer choose her targets, and who might be next on the list?
Yes, it's a combination. She does, again, a lot of her own work in just looking people's names up, seeing where they came from, seeing what they've written, seeing what they've worked on. So it's a vast array of heresies or non-MAGA traits people can have to be under her spotlight. You saw this at the FDA. You saw this members of the National Security Council. She gets tips too. She told this to Politico before she talked to us, from people who want to expose somebody in the administration. The idea being, even though there's a lot of time for this transition, it wasn't rushed. People were vetted on the way in. There are some people who got jobs because of their credentials, and people on getting them pulling them up into the White House, into the executive branch, didn't notice something that they had said, or this has happened since we were in 7 months of this, or they have some heresy, some problem with Trump policy that wasn't obvious until later in the administration. So it's very broad. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry about that. North Carolina Republican Senator Thom Tillis has had some choice words for Loomer now that he's taken the gloves off. He's called her a callus that appears only when the work's already done. So how are Republicans viewing her influence?
That was a very representative quote. Republicans who believe they have earned their role in American public life in the Republican Party resent that somebody who is this young and is this outside D.C. and was, you said fringe in the introduction, was seen as fringe by Republicans, was chasing Ron DeSantis around and trying to ruin him when he was running for president. They resent that she has this influence, and her response to Tillis was, he's a loser. If he thinks I'm taking easy targets, he's an easy target. He has to retire next year because he knew he couldn't win a primary. Hard to argue with that. Again, her power comes not just from her own work, but from her relationship to Donald Trump. And if you're a Republican who has a weaker or non-existent or hostile relationship, then yes, she has more influence than you, and she will for at least 3 years and change.
It's at the very least a symbiotic relationship between her and the White House. Do you see any situation where she gets a more formalized role in the West Wing?
She has asked for one. She told us that she has asked for a press pass so that she publishes a lot of stories on X, on her media channels. She wants to be in the briefing room in the White House because she sees other reporters, other outlets asking the administration about her stories. Why them? Why not her? Why not her colleagues? She also would, I would say, settle for it. But another idea she had is being a special government employee, so she could be inside the administration doing this work. Now, could she pass a vetting? Yes, in this administration. Now, there are people doing similar work on the outside, like Mike Davis, the Article 3 project, who say they don't want in. They're unencumbered. They're able to do a lot more. She is completely devoted to this task. So she would be happy, she told us, with either a role in the press corps, which there are a lot of MAGA voices in this press corps now, brought in by Caroline Leavitt, or an employee of the White House who, while there, could have a security clearance and make it much easier to say, somebody gave me a tip on this guy. I'm going to look up everything I know and see, or everything that can be found about him, and interrogate him and investigate him and get him fired if he is not MAGA enough.
Or maybe some special designation a la Doge and Elon Musk. Who knows? Dave Weigel, thank you very much.